You're about to enjoy a Cloudcast original. Local stories, local storytellers, local brands.
Have you ever felt that you as a woman may not appear to measure up when you see incredible women in strong roles? You may be surprised when hearing from women in these positions and how we all share many of the same challenges. Thank you for joining us for the CEO Leading In podcast with Rebecca Jones as we share the journeys of women.
Hello, I'm Rebecca Jones, your host of CEO. We're on an exploration together to discover more about the personal journeys of incredible women in both career and life. We all have paths to share that sometimes take incredible turns, deep resilience, and courage to navigate. My hopes are that the challenges shared here encourage women to take leaps of faith and growth when a journey feels too difficult or unachievable. There is great strength deep within each one of us. These stories are meant to share the ways strong women have taken their dreams to strive and thrive to new heights, despite their sometimes rocky paths, and found a way to lead in. Today we are with Kelly Weier, owner of Cycle Bar. How are you today, Kelly?
Hi, Rebecca. I'm well. Thank you.
Oh, so excited to have you here with us to share your journey and your incredible resilience that you have shown throughout this pandemic recently. But I want to know more about your past and how you got to where you are. So why don't you tell us a little bit about what you do every day, but kind of how you got there as well?
Yeah, so we own an indoor cycling studio, so obviously speaks for itself, boutique fitness. But a few years back, we kind of were sitting around thinking, what are we going to do in this next season of our life? And I had torn my rotator cuff and herniated a disc in my back. And I was exercising, and I'm a big fitness person. And I couldn't do any of the stuff that I was doing anymore. So I kind of started thinking of other things that were low impact but fun. I took a couple of cycling classes at the gym, and it just wasn't for me. I finally fell into one where it was very music driven. And I'm not a dancer, but I feel like I should have been a dancer in my life because I just love music and movement so much. So I kind of got on this journey of maybe I should do something like this. I've never been a fitness instructor. I've never been an owner or operator of a business. So maybe I kind of like hit my head a little bit with that idea, but I had to quit my job when I had my daughter. She has Down syndrome, and there was just a lot of therapies and heart surgeries and struggles and challenges that went through that. So I kind of got out of what I used to do, which is in pharmaceutical sales. And so I took a background in sales and my love of fitness and kind of just put those two together and decided that I should open Cycle Bar.
So what did you do before?
I was a pharmaceutical sale rep. Before that, I worked, I was a journalist in Denver, Colorado. And then I realized this is such a funny story. I didn't want to work nights, weekends, mornings, holidays. And now I do all that.
Well, now let's, to be fair about that, that's why I was trying to get at. I thought you did have a career before pharmaceutical sales. I think in our different times in our life, we go through seasons and we go, okay, this is right for me now. And this is right for me now. And you kind of change a little bit, right?
Yeah.
And it really depends on, what's happening in your life. And I think part of it has to do with you're married or not, kids, no kids. Certainly you can't do everything all the time exactly the same, in the different seasons of your life. So I really want to hear more about you as a person, Kelly. Why don't you tell us a little bit about maybe there's something fun, a little fun story about your childhood that maybe gives us insight as to why you're doing what you're doing today, but possibly not. Why don't you share a short story about your childhood with us?
Yeah, I don't know if I have like one particular story. I had a really good upbringing as far as my parents always encouraged us to just work hard and always like not take life too seriously, but take it seriously enough that if you have an obligation, you need to see it through. And I think my mom was a little bit more serious and my dad was like more fun loving and kind of like, hey, it is what it is. Life is life. Everything's a speed bump. Glass half full kind of guy. And I think he just passed that along to me, and just always being fun loving. And people say like, oh, you're such a people person. And I really am. I love getting to know people. I love getting to hear their stories and learn their journeys. And really, when you learn about somebody, I mean, everybody has such a story in their past that is like so amazing and so challenging. And yet here they are today and they're live to tell about it. So I love getting to know that. And I think at an early age, I just started always wanting to listen and learn about different people's pasts.
I love that. I'm the same way. And I always think, okay, there's a perception of when you see someone. So back in the early 90s, I actually sold new homes. And I remember when people would walk up to the door, we had a glass door, and I'd always think, I have a perception of what they're like. I wonder if I'm completely right or completely wrong. Most often, I was 100% wrong.
Yeah.
And the people that I thought would actually purchase a house never did. And the people that I thought never would actually were the home buyers. But I loved hearing about how they, they wanted to have the American dream, own a home, but how they, the different jobs that they had and just kind of their experiences in life. It was fun to me. And when I tell people that, some people look at me and go, yeah, I get it. Like, I think you would get that. Other people are like, oh gosh, that's a lot of work having to get to know all these people. I mean, you really do bond with people. Yeah. And I think in fitness, in your career and owning your own business, I think you probably know a lot about what's happening in people's lives. And I think more now than ever, really connecting with them helps you become better at your job because you can figure out, well, how do I work with them and find a detailed program for them that could actually fit their needs more?
I mean, life is about connections. It's about human connections. Yeah. And that is what we do at Cycle Bar. And it's what we do as humans. And I know what is going on with someone. It's written all over their face. They never even have to tell me. And I'll reach out to someone and I'll say, hey, what's going on? Is everything all right? And they're like, yeah, why are you asking me that? And I'm like, I could just tell by your demeanor, the way you walk, like your facial expressions. They're like, yeah, things aren't going great. And they'll let me know. And then other times they get to share their joys and triumphs. And I think what is so great when they walk into that room for 45 minutes, they just get to lay their burdens out. And that they get to leave feeling better. Because a lot of places you don't get to do that. You don't get to walk out on the real world crying or upset or angry. You have to like put on this front of like, I got it together. I'm going to get my kids. I'm going to work. I've got to like put my head down and do it. No matter what you're going through. But at Cycle Bar for 45 minutes, it's really just a safe sanctuary where you can just feel whatever you need to do to move forward of whatever season that you're in.
And disconnect from all of it, right?
Yeah. And I think if you're into music, some people are really into the workout, which is great. But I feel like it's a little bit like therapy, not a little bit, but as soon as I get on that bike and I start moving my body, all of a sudden I start feeling all these feelings that I didn't even know I was feeling. Gosh, here we go. And then I start telling a story, and it's kind of like church sometimes when you're in there and you're like, are they talking to me? Like, how do they know?
Oh my gosh, yes.
And everybody always says that because you take what you need out of a conversation or something that someone's telling, or a story, or songs. You start hearing music and the lyrics and you start thinking, oh my gosh, this is about like my entire life right now. And I didn't even I've sung this song a million times, but until you really start to listen, that you're hearing for the first time, right? It's like you've been listening to it, but you haven't really heard it. So I think that's my favorite part of like the connection. And that has really been the reason that we are still doing what we do. If we didn't have that and it was just a place where people came in, worked out, left. I knew nothing about them. They knew nothing about me. There wouldn't be a place anymore.
So back to your still doing what you're doing. I want you to talk about this because I am blown away by what you have gone through during this pandemic. So why don't you talk about a little bit about when the pandemic first started and what you had to do when you had to shut down, and then when they said, "Oh, well, you could be open for outdoor operations." What did that look like for you? Because honestly, I'm completely blown away by it.
Yeah,
What did you go through every day?
I remember when you showed up in the parking lot that day when we were up the street. But yeah, we opened up. We were elated, and then we were able to open up for 3 weeks. And then they said, "Oh, you got to close again." And then this went on, back and forth. And then finally, they said, "Okay, you can resume, but you have to be outside." We have a challenging outdoor space. It's not great for outdoor use. A lot of people were able to just pick up what they were doing and block off spaces, parking lots, concrete. I don't know. Some people even use the street, and they were able to kind of like resume business, not as usual, but as best that they could. But we were having a challenging time doing that. We did do that for a little bit. Then we were told we couldn't be out there. So our neighbor up the street at the sanctuary, the Lost Abbey, said, "Well, we're closed because we're not allowed to be open."
Yeah.
So we have like this area in the back. We have a little area in the front. It's not big. And we were still socially distanced at that time. So we needed to make sure that we could safely be out there, not get hit by a car, but also be 6 feet apart.
Yeah.
So they graciously let us be up there and occupy their space. We started, it was the dead of summer. So it was like 95 degrees. We were in the back the first time, and then we realized it's too hot back there. We were too close together. Let's try going out front. And then we tried like up kind of on the sidewalk. That was too tight. We moved into the street. The city of San Marcos was so great working with us as far as like getting permits and all of that stuff. But yeah, we had to, bring the bikes up there.
And how many bikes were you moving every day?
We weren't moving that many. We were probably doing 20.
Oh yeah, that's not that many.
Yeah.
Girl, I like literally.
It is a lot, but we have 50 that we used before.
Oh my gosh.
But the best part about it is people hadn't been out in so long, and people were working from home. And I just remember dragging the bikes up there, and people would pull over with their pickup, and they'd be like, "Get it in the car." So we'd carry it in, even though it was like only one more block left, but it made such a difference. And it kind of, it just made you laugh too a little bit. I mean, days I definitely were crying all the time, but for the most part, it's just people committed to wanting to help out and make it work and wanting a place to go. Again, that sanctuary, I always say, yeah, the 4 walls are great, but really it's the community that makes that. And people were still able to do all of those same things, lay their burdens down for 45 minutes, whether you were outside or inside. And I'm like eternally grateful for Tommy and everybody over there at the sanctuary. So
Two full city blocks you were moving them. Let's just clarify that part. 20 so cycles.
They to be fair, they did let us, sometimes they were open to like weird hours, like not in some mornings, but they had modified hours. So some, like on Wednesdays, they weren't open, so then we could keep the bikes there overnight, but then they were open on Thursdays, so we have to bring them down and then back up for Friday. So like some days they let us store them inside, which was also so nice of them.
Yeah, well, let's be real here. It was a very tough circumstance. And then you got to go back in, and then what happened with the car driving through the front window?
Well, this was just recently. This was just 7 weeks ago. Nobody was hurt. That's the blessing of the story, but unfortunately someone hit the gas instead of the brake, or was in reverse or in drive, not in reverse, something along those lines, and they made it straight into the front of the studio. And I had luckily left for that hour. And it was right before school got out. Usually the middle school comes down and there's kids everywhere in that
Oh,
center,
geez.
all
Yeah.
hanging out there. And that's like, and my kids are usually out there too. I'm working and I usually have them just right out there. My son's usually throwing the baseball. And my heart dropped. That's the first thing I thought about was, oh my gosh, if this was an hour later, this would look very different.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately, I hate even saying this, but like because of the supply chain, they
Yeah.
let us know that, hey, it could be 6 to 12 weeks till we get these parts in. And I'm like, you're gotta be kidding me. And they said, no,
Right.
they're all out on the ocean. We don't have parts. We don't have people to put it back together. I mean, there are so many issues that all the small businesses are. So
Yeah.
of course we use someone local here in San Marcos and we were able to get it done. We're still working on some inside stuff, but for the most part, that's all done. Now it's just a struggle of letting people know because it was all boarded up. So everyone thought, oh, they closed down for good is what it appeared to
Oh,
be. So
yeah.
we are open. Come in.
Today you
Yeah,
opened. Exciting.
yes,
Yep.
doors are open. So I think the challenge now is just what the challenge has been for the last 2 years is getting people back in the doors. And I think it's just been hard because everybody's schedule continues to change. You're working from
Yeah.
home, then you're working at the office, and then your kids are home, and then you're back, and now whatever switched. And so no one's been able to have like a lot of consistency. And I think with any kind of routine, if you fall out of it, like it's easy to fall out for a long time and not get back in that rhythm. So I think we just need to obviously be patient. But really what is going to make the difference is just word of mouth around here, right? It's like
Right. Right.
so easy to go with a friend. Hey, come with me. I go on Wednesdays. Like, do you want to come? Just try it out, So it can be very intimidating. I mean, you clip into this bike and we're like, oh, good, you're locked in for 45 minutes. You don't get to go anywhere. It's not like the yoga mat where you're like, just lay down. And if you can't follow, you just keep laying there. So
Right.
what's the worst that's going to happen?
Right.
Well, the worst that's going to happen too, same is like nothing. People are so helpful and they just want you to be there. And it's really a place where the more people, the more energy, the better we feel,
Right.
the more we can lay our burdens down. Like it's just all of those things. So it's something that it's great that if there's 6 people in class, but it's really great when there's 48 people.
Well, and
It's just a different
that's
feel.
community.
Yeah.
That's everyone, working together and trying to encourage one another. So that leads me to my next question, and that is balance, right? Because community is, trying to figure out how to balance to work together. But as far as balance goes, from being a mom, from being a business owner, and then all the work and life things that kind of collide. How do you balance everything? And listen, I know more than probably most. It's going to be cyclical, of course, and that's not cycle bar humor.
Yeah.
But it will be. It will be cyclical. So, what does that look like to you? The balance?
So if I'm being 100% transparent, I have none.
Yeah.
I mean, I would not advise someone to do what I'm doing right now. It's not, it can't last,
Yeah.
I have no balance in my life. I'm starting to get a little bit in the form of, on Sundays when my son plays, he's on a travel baseball team and I just adore watching him play. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying my best to be away from, I'm still working, but I'm trying to be away from the studio on Sundays as much as possible to go to be there. And it's like for 2 hours, I put my computer away, I put
Mm-hmm.
my phone away, and I pay for it later because now I'm like feeling, oh my gosh, I got home and now it's 6 o'clock and I got to do all the stuff before Monday. But it's a small step for me and I got to make other small steps like that. I go to bed early. I get up very early. We open at 4 something in the morning. So I've always been a someone that goes to bed really early. So I try to put my phone away when I put my daughter to bed at 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
And I always think nothing earth shattering is going to happen between now and 4 a.m.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
my bad habit is I start the second I wake up at 4:15. I grab my computer, I start answering emails, I start putting out all the fires. And I need to learn to like kind of take a breath for myself, but it just starts and it starts quick in the morning, because things can go wrong quickly with technology or people. You're relying on people to be there at a crazy hour in the morning. And then if like something happens or they wake up ill or their car breaks down, we've had all that. Then it's like,
Right.
well, who do they call? Obviously me. Thank goodness I live across the street. I can
But
just pull over.
but remember, Kelly, it's life.
Yeah.
And life, I think, during especially a pandemic, we have been, I mean, and you especially, honestly, when I think about all the things that you've gone through, and yet, you still have a smile on your face. You still, how do you stay positive in all of that? I think that's remarkable. I really do.
Thank you. I think that, like I said, from my dad, I have like this glass half full type of personality. And I always, things are very extreme with me. I'm either like, the world is ending, we're never going to recover. And the next day I'm like, it is what it is. So
Yeah.
I come around really quickly, and I can talk myself out of things and I can talk myself into them just as quick. So I think it's a blessing that I have to show up for people, because that means I have to show up for myself. It's
Right.
a gift that I get to move my body for my job, even though I am exhausted. And it's, for me, music is a gift. The second I go in there and I turn that on, everything that seems so bad, so heavy, is like not as much. And
Right.
just that glimmer of like, wow, I can do this. This is fine. I got this. And I'm talking to them about doing the same thing. And we all kind of leave feeling like, hey, those problems aren't gone just because we talked about them. But we are able to see like with clearer lenses. And I think sometimes that is the biggest thing. I mean, my best advice for anybody and for myself is when you hit a hurdle or something's not going your way, you just have to remind yourself that it's a speed bump. Like your plan is not derailed. Your purpose is not derailed. Like it just slowed you down a
Yeah.
little bit. And maybe you don't want to be slowed down, but too bad, right? Life
It's
happens.
life. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, for
So
sure.
you just have to remind yourself that even though you had to maybe take a different course or a reroute, I think trusting the reroute is really important, because maybe it's taking you to a place that you needed to be and you weren't headed that direction in the first place.
So, that being said, what are some lessons that you've personally learned that you'd like young women to learn and also apply to their lives? And it might look a little different, but some of the things that you've really said, yeah, you know what, this has been a lesson, and it could be a failure, it could be a triumph. I mean, it could be anything like that. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think sitting in the discomfort is really good advice. Like some people just want to rush through it and make it all better. But
Yeah.
sometimes you just have to like sit in it and realize what is going wrong. Why is this
Mm-hmm.
not feeling the way it's supposed to? And I think discipline is one of the hardest things that we do, but we have to do it like we love it. Like get up and do the thing that you really don't like, but do it with like, I really love this. Do this with a full heart, like it's a gift. Because if you don't have discipline going into the smallest struggle, you're gonna hit something. I mean, a pandemic is like the biggest thing, right? But even
Yeah.
something that's gonna, it seems like it's gonna derail your plan. But if you have discipline and you're used to getting up and you're used to putting your head down and you're used to telling yourself like, this is a speed bump, it's not a crash, I can come back from this. um, and just really knowing that it's never the end, it's just a reroute, I think is really a good lesson for people to take. And I think that getting up in the morning, whether you want to go do what you want to do or not, like you just have to go. Like don't think about it. And purpose isn't amazing an alarm clock, right? It's like, okay, I gotta go. And for me, it's showing up for my people. And I don't see that as um, something that's a burden. I see that as something that has been, it's a gift to be able to go there and change the way people feel and to think about themselves. And so when I don't want to get up in the morning and I don't want to smile, or I feel like life is too hard, I talk through it. I talk through it with my people on the bike. I dance a little bit with the music and I feel better. And I think that that's how I keep a smile on my face and just kind of, you can be a little easy breezy, because you know that you're going to get through it. Sometimes it just takes a lot longer. My parents went through, they were both in real estate through all the recession. And I saw all of that. I saw everything, them lose everything and then come back, So
Right. Yeah.
there's just always like hope on the other side.
I like that. And, and I think, when people think about well-being, a lot of times they think that's just physical, eat right, that sort of thing, and well-being. They don't, and always, are you doing well professionally with your career? Are you making money? Do you have a roof over your head? They often forget about the part of physical activity that is, I mean, honestly, I feel totally refreshed. When I go to the gym, I'm like, dreading it until I get there. I start working out and then I'm like, okay, all right. The first few minutes I'm struggling. I'm like tired. But then when I really start going and, the music honestly really does help me too. But when I really start getting into it, I feel so good by the time I'm done.
Yeah.
I actually want more of it. And I think that if you're not in the habit of actually working out, you forget about that.
Yeah.
It's
you forget
super
it makes
easy.
you feel good because it's hard to get there. And it's like you have to rearrange all these things and it's one more thing on your to-do list. And we all know that, we don't need one more of anything on our to-do list.
Well, it's intentionality.
Yeah.
It's being totally intentional of saying, you know what, I'm going to choose this because I know in the end it's going to help me a lot.
Yeah. And I always we can be real honest with our writers. I'll ask who didn't want to come this morning, right? And people will raise their hand. I didn't want to get out of bed. I wasn't feeling good. I stayed out late last night. I had a busy weekend. The time change, right? Whatever it is. Yeah. And then at the end of class, I'll ask sometimes, not every time, but I just out of curiosity, when I can tell that faces are walking in that are like, I wish I didn't have to be here this morning. Then I'll ask, who is glad that they came? And they can be honest. There are still some people that are like, no, I wish I would have rolled over and hit the snooze button. But 99% of the people are like, no, you're right. I'm glad that I came. I feel so much better. And you just have to do it. You just have to do it. Definitely. And if you do it enough, first of all, the beginning isn't as hard. The middle isn't as hard. And the end is going to always be rewarding.
Sure. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. So what are you most passionate about with your journey and where you're at right now in life, career-wise?
I mean, it always goes back to connection and community. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think that's, as a human, if you ask people, what do I know about people? What is not just their name, but deeper. It's like a different level of connection. I haven't been able to go out with people on a girls trip or with friends in 2 years now, maybe longer. Yeah. And for most people to not have those deep connections can be very challenging. And somehow I've been able to find deep rooted connections writing in a room where they don't even talk. Yeah. It sounds so weird. Like I have the microphone, but it's a two-way conversation. And they're really, I know so much about them. And I don't know that a lot of people in whatever they do for a living can say, like, I have a connection to 99% of the people that are in here right now. And I think that's why they, continue to come back because they
Yeah,
feel that. And people want to be seen and heard.
they
And
do.
and
They do.
and everything is about like, okay, I really feel like this place is special because everybody knows my name. Or they always ask like how my weekend was. Or they know something's wrong before I even know something's wrong.
Yeah.
But I think it's like a really special thing. And whenever I'm starting to get feeling very overwhelmed, which happens a lot lately, especially since the car accident, I felt like that was just
Mm-hmm.
like just one more thing, I just have to go back to the people on the days that they don't want to show up, they show up for other people. The days that I don't want to show up, they show up for me. The days
I love that.
they struggled to get there, I show up for them. And so it takes everybody's energy. It all matters. And you can tell if there's one person in that room just sucking the life out of like,
Yeah, yeah,
you're
for
like,
sure.
wow, I can feel you. And it's
Well,
not
that's
like
community. That's
I can
community. You
feel
can
your
tell. Yeah,
energy way
right.
over there. And like,
Mm-hmm.
I gotta do something to shake that up, shake that out.
Yeah,
We gotta lay that
yeah,
down and run over it because that's not working for anybody. And I can tell it's not working
right.
for you.
Right, right. Negativity does. It
Yeah.
it can definitely suck the life out of everything.
Yeah.
So, what advice would you give the next generation of female leaders?
Keep showing up.
Yeah.
I think that it's really easy to have people. I mean, look, we tried to get a loan from a bank. I think we went through 15 banks and they all said,
Mm.
no, you've never owned a business. Why would we give you money? Well, because we've never owned a business and I need the money. That's why.
Right.
And
Yeah.
everyone turned me down. They didn't want to loan us any money. And I
Wow.
think that you just have to keep showing up. I mean, those applications are like hundreds of pages long, and we had to just keep one after another until it only took one person saying yes.
Right.
And then that was it. And then I tell that story all the time. Like, it wasn't easy. And there are definitely people that come in with it with not needing to go to a bank and say, hey, I just need you to trust me. Okay, well, they're like, yeah, whatever, lady.
Yeah.
I promise I'm gonna make this work. But I think as people are coming up, if they have an idea or they have something that they want to do, something they're passionate about,
Mm-hmm.
that they just need to stay the course. They
Right.
need to keep going. You're gonna get a way more no's in life than you are yeses, but you only need one yes. So I
That's
think
right.
just keep going forward.
Nice. All right. So, what's next on your journey, Kelly?
Um, I don't know. My daughter starts middle school next year, and I'm totally freaking out. So I probably some counseling.
Post pandemic, everyone's going to
I
need it.
feel like I do. I didn't, I need to go to counseling. I need to talk through some of my stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm having like feeling like I'm gonna need to be around a lot more for my daughter. Which
Mm-hmm.
is weird because people think, oh, you need to be around like when your kids are younger. And that is true, but I think where my family is with my daughter having Down syndrome, I
Mm-hmm.
think middle school is already a very challenging time. And I see like a lot of challenges in this next season. So I'm kind of just seeing where that goes and where it'll take me and what I'm going to have to kind of move around to make that kind of stuff work best for our
Yeah.
family. So
Well, I know you'll figure it out because you're so resilient. You've been through so much. And honestly, the regular stuff, I think, is going to be feeling easier for you soon.
Yeah,
I
I
really
hope
do.
so. I mean, there
I
was a
think so.
person the other day that came up to me and they say, I feel like the hardest struggles are behind you now. And I said, gosh,
I feel the same.
I hope
Yeah.
so, because,
Yeah.
as strong as you are, you can only take so much.
Yeah.
It's like you just feel like you do need to keep going. But sometimes, like I said, you just feel a little lost and like you need to come back down to earth and then just remember why you're doing what you're doing. And that's
That's right. Never lose sight of that.
for the community, for me, that is it. And I'm hoping to have a little more family time in the second half of 2022 going into 2023.
Awesome. Well, I will look forward to seeing what you're doing. Definitely keep in touch. And thank you so much, Kelly, for being with us today. Really appreciate you and really proud of all the things that you've struggled through and really come out on top. And I know that people are going to come back and support you because it's a community that you've built and people appreciate that.
Thank you. Thanks so much for all your support and for inviting me on. It's been really good to talk to you.
Thank you.
Yes. So we will talk soon and spread the word.
All right. Will do. Thank you, Kelly.
Now that was powerful. We hope you've been lifted and encouraged by today's inspiring voice. Always remember that life doesn't look exactly the same for each one of us. Never stop dreaming, striving, and thriving. In future episodes, we look forward to bringing you powerful stories from amazing women who learn how to lead in to challenges. Thank you for listening and being part of our community with CEO host Rebecca Jones.
You have been listening to a Cloudcast original. Local stories, local storytellers, local brands. Find more stories at cloudcast.us.